Good morning, my dear third prep students. Today we are going to present our first lesson of poetry in this term. But firstly, we are going to revise figurative language. And you may ask me, what's meant by figurative language? Figurative language, which the authors use many types, in which they use many types of figurative language in order to help the reader visualize and understand what they are writing. Or, in other words, I want you to know we use this figurative language to give you figures or pictures of the words to clarify the meaning, and this is used mainly in poetry. And today we are going to study what is meant by these concepts in poetry, which we call figures of speech. We are going to deal with metaphor, simile, alliteration, onomatopoeia, personification, and hyperbole. Okay? Now let's know what is meant by metaphor. Let's move to the types. Metaphor. What's meant by metaphor? It means comparing two nouns that are not alike. Okay? Look here with me. Look at the picture. Can you see the sky? Raining. Cats and dogs? Of course not. If I say it's raining cats and dogs, what do I mean? I mean it is raining heavily. Instead of saying heavily, I said cats and dogs to clarify the meaning. So we call this a metaphor. Now let's move to the other type of figures of speech, the simile. What is meant by simile? Simile means using the words like or as to compare two nouns that are not alike. Compare two nouns that are not alike. So you have to get the two words, as or like, to say this is a simile. You have to find these words. Now look here in this example. As sick as a dog. Okay? She is like the sun. I mean, she is so beautiful and shining like a sun. Okay? This is called simile. And the other type is, we're going to move to this exercise, the metaphor and simile. Okay? Yes, look at the bottom of the page now, and you are going to put in this wave, the wave of the simile or the wave of metaphor. Okay, which one is the correct one will get inside it, and the wrong one won't get inside. Like couch potato. Is it a simile? That's wrong. Okay, he is a couch potato lifestyle or a couch potato person. This is a metaphor. And the word rude hug. Is it a metaphor? Yes, that's correct. What about a heart of stone? Is it a metaphor? I think that's correct. And eats like blah blah blah. We have like here, so it's a simile, and we have also the word cool. Okay, a cool person. This is a metaphor. And happy as, okay, whatever we have as, this is a simile. Okay. Now, this is your exercise. I want you to complete it when you watch this lesson. Now we are going to move to the alliteration. The alliteration is related to what we call the art of sound. We must have art of sound in the poem to give you the sense of music in the poem. So what's alliteration? Alliteration is the repetition of the same sound at the beginning of words in a line of poetry or in a sentence. Do you remember in first previous study, I am busy, said the sea. You say said the sea. Sa and sa and said and the sea. We repeated the first sound, not the first letter. The first sound, sa sound. Okay? Now, look here. We have this example with the picture. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled pepper. You have pa sound, pa sound, pa sound, pa sound, and pa sound, and pa sound. We have about 6 pa sounds. In the first sound of each word, we call this alliteration. Okay? Onomatopoeia. What is meant by onomatopoeia? Onomatopoeia, when a word sounds like the sound it is describing, okay, like when I say, this is a bang, okay, when you hear the word bang, you get the sound of hitting something or a loud sound, okay? And here is an example with the picture, bang. You can imagine the picture when you hear the word, okay? Now we have this exercise. Sort the phrases. Is it onomatopoeia or alliteration? Yeah. Eating enormously. Is this onomatopoeia or alliteration? I think this is alliteration, so we put it here. And standing still, sa and sa, standing still. This is alliteration, the repetition of the sa sound at the beginning of the two words. And sing silly, the same style. Yeah, that's correct. This is a simile. And charming, okay, charming choice, for example, this is a simile. Laughed loudly, this laugh and loudly, this is alliteration. Green grapes, the same, this is alliteration. Broken bones, this is alliteration. Fat frog, this is also alliteration. Okay, we can have broken bones here again with the onomatopoeia because you can hear the sound, and the word sing silly, we have the sound of singing, we can put it in the onomatopoeia at the same time. Okay, now let's move to the concept, the other concept. Hyperbole. Hyperbole means to exaggerate in describing something. Yani, what is meant by hyperbole? It means an exaggeration that's not meant to be taken seriously. When I say we had to wait forever, does this mean that we will wait to the end of the world and after the end of the world? Of course not. It means that we will have to wait for a long time. But to exaggerate, you say we had to wait forever. Okay? This is what we call hyperbole. And in page 10 here, write some example of hyperbole that you have heard recently. This is your exercise. I want you to write some example of hyperbole in this page or in your notebook at home. Let's move to page 11. Personification. What's meant of personification? Personification, it means describing human qualities in something that's not a person. Okay? When you give the quality of a person or a human to something or an animal, so when I say my computer died, the computer doesn't die, but it means that your computer doesn't work. Okay, so you say my computer died as if it is a person that died and has no benefits. Okay, this is called personification. Here is an exercise. You are going to use personification here. Finish these sentences using the technique of personification. After a hard day of work, the shovel died. We can put here died. The clouds was not and began to rain. I can say the cloud was crying. And the rain here is like tears. And the ocean decided to shout or to attack. This is a personification. The sun sat on my shoulders. I want you to try it by yourself again at home after you hear to my answers. Now let's move to the next. Let's see what you remember. This exercise, you are going to put the word personification, simile, alliteration, onomatopoeia, metaphor, hyperbole, and the space, okay, matching it with the sentence. A phrase with words that begin with the same sound. Okay, what we call this? Yeah, that's right. This is alliteration. That's correct. Words that resemble the sound that they describe. Okay, we call this onomatopoeia. That's right, too. And giving human like qualities to non-humans. Is this a personification or a hyperbole? Correct. This is personification. Yes. And we have comparing unlike things. Okay? Comparing unlike things, we call this a metaphor. And comparing unlike things using words like or as. So the differentiation between metaphor and personification is these words like or as. When you have them, you know that this is a simile. Okay? And this is a simile. Let's get the simile here. Come on. Thank you. The last one, an exaggeration, not taking seriously. Yes, hyperbole means exaggeration. Yeah, you say too much of something. That is the revision of the concepts of figures of speech or figurative language. And now you are going to apply this in your first poem. You are asked to have the poem pro blue in your poetry book. You have to extract the figures of speech in the two stanzas and to paraphrase the first one. And the question will be written at the end of this lesson.